Bienvenido, Power
Okay,
Bottoms.
Aaron. Hey.
It's not my name.
It's in our contract.
If we were the Game Grumps, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
Are you recording? Is that what I'm about to? Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, that whole 5 seconds of silence is how it starts.
Oh shit!
It starts with "Okay, Aaron." That's not
Oh, does it actually? For context, Dusty was like, "Oh, start with a joke. We're not the Game Grumps. We have to start everyone with a joke."
Danny Arnold.
Danny Arnold.
I love Darnold.
Oh, Michelle, they're doing another.
All righty. I forget how to do this all, so I'm just winging it already.
You were the one.
Listen,
You literally.
Listen.
You were the one going on about the new format.
The Bible was lost.
You created us, and now you have to live with it.
No, you sent us like a physical thing.
Oh yeah, no, I found it. I found it. I found it. It's fine. I found the Bible. It's been refound.
Where is it?
What you should have done was write your format details down in ancient Hebrew, just so nobody could ever translate it correctly.
Wait. Oh, I just under the things I found some random Dark Souls notes, and I was like, "Room full of jerky men." Mentioning magic in my direction is what killed me. What does that mean?
You know, I completely understand what room you're talking about.
Yeah, the jerky men with the magic. Yeah, I know exactly what room you're talking about. I love that you never bothered to learn what hollows are.
It's jerky man.
Yeah, that is what they were. The
Alrighty. Are you ready? Here we
go.
Too late. We've already been going for a couple minutes. You've lost your bailing privileges.
Well, I could still just leave. That's
who should I start? Fancy. I'm gonna start with
What?
you. I'm gonna pick on you.
What
have you been playing?
Fallout 4. I tried XDefiant earlier. Call of Duty. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Darkest Dungeons 2. That's all I can remember.
All right. Elaine, your turn.
Okay. I've been playing Voices of the Void. I've been playing Warframe. And Genshin Impact is a free open world.
Oh, we're not sponsored by
Rage.
We are not.
Legends.
I would let. We should.
But yeah,
Epic
sponsor us.
AAA graphics RPG.
But yeah, those are about the 3 games I've been playing.
Download now to get 10,000 free gold.
And 2 free summons.
I think that's the worst download now deal they've ever had.
Probably.
Yeah, like Mora, the gold isn't used for like anything.
Wulfryk,
I just have so much.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
I have been playing Hawken Reborn, because my favorite terrible mech game from back in the day is alive somehow again. Little Kitty, Big City.
Yes.
Based.
It is very fun. A little bit of Warframe. And that's all I remember.
Those are some chunky keys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
They're very loud, by the way.
Well, this app doesn't have a noise gate, so I can't make it not audible. So
there is one, but I have to do it myself, and I'm too lazy.
You can just do this thing called gently touching the keys.
I was trying to be
It's
as
a
quiet as I
mechanical
could.
Keyboard. It wants
I
Mine's
was
mechanical
trying to be as
too.
quiet
can
as
make
I
it very
could.
quiet.
You could just do this thing called having work ethic and being a functional member of society. Dusty.
I am based. I do not have mechanical keyboard.
I
the
like
clicky.
mechanical keyboards.
I found
Clicky,
this.
clicky, clicky.
I found this
Feel good on
really
my
cheap
ADHD brain.
membrane Razer keyboard that I actually find quite comfortable, so I use it.
I
I
had a
realized-
membrane one.
Is
and
that one of
then
those
the
ones where
keys
it's
broke.
basically? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
I was
Very
Uh,
good at that.
I don't remember who was talking first.
Me neither. I don't know. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
it was
either.
your turn.
Go.
Go.
What? Oh,
Talk about the membrane keyboard, Elaine.
I've had my last keyboard was a Razer membrane keyboard, and the D key got stuck.
Dope.
You lost your D. You lost your D privileges. But
With mechanical
membrane
keyboard, that doesn't
keyboards-
happen because I can fix it.
are membrane keyboards the ones where it's basically like a flat rubber pad?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like those. I don't like them at all.
This one is a weird hybrid where it's trying its best to be a mechanical keyboard, but it's silent.
Mm.
And the other good thing about membrane keyboards is if you care, they have better RGB because the membrane acts as a light diffuser.
Okay, I do
My
care.
RGB keyboard.
RGB is cool.
Well, like mechanical ones can be RGB, but you can get a good looking cheap membrane one with RGB because again, the membrane just is a hack to make it look better. I've been doing just shooters, Call of Duty, the finals. I'm X Defiant. That's my life.
I've been playing a lot of the finals.
Oh, Little Kitty Big City. I started speedrunning it. I did that.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. I got the zoomies.
Gotta go faster, faster, faster,
I'm
faster.
down to just over
Sorry.
8 minutes.
Dang.
That is pretty cool.
I am like 3 minutes and 20 seconds away from the record. I'm getting down there.
Damn. Have you been recording these or?
No, I'm going to start. My goal was once I get under 10 minutes, and then yesterday I accidentally did it. So I need to start recording them now.
Yeah, absolutely. Record that. Get your bag.
Get my bag.
I don't think there's a monetary incentive to get world
It's not.
record, but
I'm too small of a anyone. I'm too small of a person. In general.
you are
You're
definitely
very
bigger
small.
than I am.
I
You're
am
just
You
a
are
little
real
guy.
You're like 2 feet tall. It's
I'm a little gremlin.
You're just reminding me of the Fallout meme. There's a house for sale. I'd like to, but I'm a little short. It's just him like standing on the desk. It's the size of a freaking bobblehead.
All right. I hope you all brought news. Because it's time
That's
for
true.
oh
Thought
shit.
about news like an hour and a half ago. and
It's
did-
the news. There's been a lot of news. If you don't have one, one, I will laugh at you, but two, you'll trigger a mini game. So maybe one day just try that. I don't know.
Wait, if I don't have news, it gets a minigame?
Yes, there are rules to it though, so just don't purposely do it. But that is a thing where if you actually forget or don't find anything interesting, because I want you to bring news that you at least want to talk about. So if nothing interests you, you'll trigger a mini game if you don't bring anything.
See, you're thumping those keys.
How?
Rest your finger
You're, like,
gently on the key
slamming.
and press.
I was
slowly.
typing. What do you?
No, hear me out.
What do
Do
you
what I
want me to
say
do?
real quick. Put your fingers on the keys you want to press, and slowly press each one.
But then I'm not
Just-
typing fast.
gotta-
Just ADG key F real quick so that you can hear what that sounds like. Slower, slow, gentle. Okay,
You gotta love
mechanical
the
keyboard.
Gotta love.
Listen.
Do you hear my mechanical keyboard right now?
Your mechanical keyboard isn't right next to your
It
mic.
is.
You know, mine is next to my mic, and I purposely got the most clicky one I could find.
Mine is incredibly clicky, and my microphone is a foot away from it.
And that's
Maximum.
funny because as someone who's constantly having to record things, I got the quietest one I could. Which is why I went with this weird hybrid one. It's technically a membrane keyboard. Well, it is a
Wait, what
membrane
are-
keyboard.
Oh,
But if you don't know anything about keyboards or you don't care, you would think it's a mechanical, just because of the amount of travel these keys have. And at the bottom
thought
there is still
news.
a slight click.
So who's
I've
starting
got,
us off on the news?
I've got a low
I
profile
gotta
keyboard. for
find
that.
something here. Hang on.
I can't look anything up, so I'm like a
have
fish.
you've had 2 weeks to think of something. It's the last 2 weeks. As long as it happened after the
Here
last
we go.
episode, you're good.
I guess that's fair.
I got my news.
I can talk about.
I got my news.
All right, just a second. Also about the minigame. It's only triggered once. So if 2 of you don't bring one of you's just not getting points that day. I will
Oh,
not allow
shit.
all 3 of you to
Imagine-
show up with no news. Like, we want free
Imagine
point and fun
sucking.
minigame, please. No, first person to admit gets the minigame. The other 2 get fucked.
Imagine sucking.
They're just sucking.
What's the mini game?
I'm not going to tell you anything until it gets triggered someday. It's going to be a fun surprise.
Okay.
However, I will say it is an improv thing. So
Fuck, I
if-
will lose. Okay, I better.
if you don't want
better
if,
rack my
if you
brain.
actually don't like thinking off the top of your head, I wouldn't do it.
I'm very
I'm
tempted.
impulsive.
I'm tempted to forego my news just to improv, but I won't.
I'm very impulsive, so the improv you will get from me will be just literally like nothing good. It will not be good. It will simply just be I will
Well,
have responses. They
Here's
just
here's
won't
the
be
good thing. I will give you a prompt, and then for 60 seconds you have to work with that prompt. That's what it is. I will
Yes.
tell you what you have what you vaguely have to talk about.
No.
No, I found something.
All right.
You found something, dude. Can I go first since I actually had something prepped?
Of course.
Thank you. Yeah, Mister.
I
I'm
thought
gonna
you
go
had to
find
spin the
some-
wheel.
No,
I'm gonna
no,
go
we
find
we all
something.
say it. Whoever brings one without jumping onto another gets a point, and then we
Oh.
spin and we talk about the main one, and everyone gets
Exactly.
points for that
Okay.
one as well. So we all have to
I-
introduce ours. So Wulfryk, go ahead.
I am introducing the hilarious story of the Final Fantasy XIV crossover man known as Big Sippin'. His story is very funny and very hot news in the Final Fantasy community right now.
I love the Mountain Dew reference. That is Big Sippin'. Hashtag Big Sippin'. That's what what Mountain Dew Gaming uses as a hashtag on Twitter.
Oh,
Hashtag Big Sippin'. And it's very cringe. That Mountain Dew Gaming is their Wendy's. So they'll respond to anything and be like, "Dog, we about to play Xbox, Big Sippin'." It's very cringy. I hate it.
mm.
All right. So Final Fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Fancy. What's your news?
The Hellblade game came out, the new one,
It did. It came out today.
and
That didn't age this
there's-
episode bad at all.
and there's something people are upset about, but I don't want to elaborate more without giving it away.
I've listened to a bunch of reviews of that game already. Yeah. I don't know anything like fan base problems. I put Hellblade instead of your name on the thing. And it's saying, I looked over, I was like, who the fuck is Hellblade? Elaine.
One of my favorite web comics, based on the hit game Oblivion, finally had an update today after 2 years of silence from the creator. That's my news.
Well, how are you?
I hope you're able to
I
elaborate.
hope you're able to
on that
elaborate.
because
Yeah,
Yeah.
or make it a
you're gonna
discussion
have
topic.
to.
I mean, you said news, and I don't know if I want to play a mini game right now. That's the first thing that came to mind, though.
Love. You'd think with this being your second time doing this.
I didnn't think about it. I forgot all about this segment.
This is the most important segment. Though.
This is the most important segment. It's
Your
so
mom is the
important
most
that I
important
had
segment.
to make it a game for anyone to even vaguely think about it. And look what this has brought me. You're still not thinking about it.
I'm sorry.
I have mechanics and shit. All right.
Fucking free.
My headline, I had to make myself because I've been keeping track of a big thing. So the headline is Xbox continues taking L's after closing 4 studios. And I will basically speed run the last 2 weeks of Xbox shitty no good life.
That was one of my news from
My
last
new
week. Or last
no,
time.
no, I said after. Yours was the
Oh.
foreclosures. Mine is specifically
Yes.
after that. Since
Oh.
then, shit's gone down, and very
Oh.
funny things have been dug up. And
It's
it's
the
like
news.
we basically now know basically all.
Don't spoil it.
Don't
This is only
spoil it.
one part. I don't give a shit. And you don't even know how. But
Spin the wheel.
a lot of these studios that they closed, they have plans with, which is very fun. All right, are you ready to spin?
Yeah,
Yes.
spin the
Go.
I
wheel.
like to see
Spin
the
the
wheel, but I
wheel.
don't
No,
get to
you don't
No,
get to
you
see
don't-
the wheel. I'm
don't
an
get to see the
honest
wheel.
man.
I believe.
It's
I believe in
me.
him.
Spin the wheel.
I
It's
got it.
you.
It's me.
That's really convenient, isn't it?
Is it?
I was sitting here just like, I know it's gonna pick me.
Would you like me to screenshot it and just send it to you in Discord?
No, I just it's funny.
I trust you.
You're like super excited
Bitch.
about this
You-
news, and then suddenly, oh,
I was
well,
excited about last week's news, and you got it. So don't even.
Yeah, my news was great last week. What are you?
So you gave points to yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a reminder, everyone has already gotten 1 point. I've gotten 2 points. I've gotten 2 points though. And you get a point if you bring your own story. So if you hop onto someone else's, you forgo your 1 point, but you might get more if you're able to add to it, you know?
I forgot.
But
I
we all
immediately
brought our
forgot
own.
the rules. Now
Yeah.
I remember it.
But we all
So
brought
at this
our
point,
own.
I have what, 3 points?
You have
Me and Love have 3 points.
You have 3. Wulfryk has 4. Fancy has 2, and I have 1.
Wait, when did
Convenient. I have 1 point.
when did Love get a 4th point?
Yeah,
Or is it
I'm
because he
good.
spoke?
No, so it's because of this. I failed to add the first point that Fancy and Wulfryk, because they're the only 2 that brought a story, and then the 2 of us jumped onto theirs. I forgot to give them both their 1 point. So I updated it over the weekend. So Wulfryk is now it's up to date fully. Wulfryk at 4, Fancy at 2, you at 3, me at 1.
Wait, where did the?
So it's Love Me, Lad You.
I need to update that to 2 already because I brought a story and then I got it's there. So 2, 2, 3, 4. That's what it is right now. What were we gonna say, Fancy?
He's questioning how I'm a god.
I'm questioning where the points came from.
Submitting stories and
mean?
having people latch onto our
So
stories.
I will
and getting picked
I
by
will
the
explain this.
Oh, wait. So you get 1 point for having a story.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 point for having someone latch onto yours.
Yes.
So
it's
1 point for it being picked.
So reminder. I'm going to have to explain the rules again. We all bring a story. You can hop into someone's story. When you do that, the thing's worth double. So
Yes.
Wulfryk got 3 points last week because they brought their own story. It became worth 2 points, so they got 2 points, and then they did the most talking about it. So they got the most points. That's actually just it. It became worth. They brought the story.
Wait, so if I talk more on your topic, I get more points?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to if you contribute.
When did
you get
that?
more
When
points.
was that in the rules?
I explained that last week.
Session 1.
If I explained
Session
it,
1.
I will.
It's like a D&D session.
I will. Whose
We had a
line is it
session 0 about
anyway?
this.
I will. Whose line is it anyway? Points don't actually matter if I feel like you did a lot of talking and you added a lot. I will do that.
See, you're trying to deprive me of points. Is it because you're homophobic?
No.
See, this is like he didn't know what I was talking about when I said I don't have a laptop cord anymore. He just wasn't listening because he's a misogynist.
I'm both, apparently. Okay.
Lad slander today. That's
So
I have
yeah,
short-term remember.
everyone got 1 point today. I got 2 because I'm the only one talking about this topic.
I now am
Of course-
okay with the points now that I remember the
Yes. Yes. All right. So let me.
That's on
I've
his
got a long
redemption
note.
arc.
So as you remember, Xbox closed down 4 studios.
Yes.
Since then, shit has gone down.
I would imagine.
Right away, the
Shit generally goes down.
right away, as you remember, Matt Booty got on and said we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush. Right after closing
Booty?
and then after that, this is now where we did our episode. Immediately after the episode, Matt Booty backtracked on that and said, "Just kidding. We need to focus on high impact titles." So they've
Like Hi-Fi
already
Rush?
said the opposite. No, high impact isn't like Call of Duty and shit now. Like they're talking about big money games.
That's funny.
And then right away, of course, fans start worrying about Ninja Theory and Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
Because at that point it was like 2 weeks away. Then it came out that the Xbox team was second guessing even putting Call of Duty on Game Pass because it would be throwing so much money away after buying
Yes.
it.
about that.
And then shit went down. Not the CEO of Xbox, not the game development lead of Xbox, but the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, went out and was like, "We need to put all of our games on platforms." I am not joking anymore.
Oh,
Whoa.
There should be no red line. We need to put
Dude.
everything on anything.
imagine getting Halo.
Okay, like
I was about to say, imagine Master Chief Collection on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I would be so happy.
He was so serious. He called it Operation Latitude. He gave it a
I
name.
love that. That's
I love that. Dude, honestly, great idea because you genuinely just make more money. You more people would be buying your games end of.
All right. So around this time, the fan base and people who are super into video games started doing some digging in the last many years. And this is when some really funny things get brought up. During the launch window of Hi-Fi Rush, the lead guy who's in charge of all the studios, Matt Booty, once again. Matt Booty. I can't not call. I do not say booty like that. I can't. I'm sorry. Said that Hi-Fi Rush was doing better than they thought, and was a hit on any metric when the game was coming out. Everyone was very happy with how that game was. In a Psychonauts 2 documentary, Xbox ruined Double Fine's Game Jam by insisting that any game made for the Game Jam they now own.
Oh,
No.
Which then you realize that's exactly why C148 doesn't do music for Minecraft anymore for the same reason.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, Xbox
100%.
just wants to own everything. In the
Yeah.
history
Why
of,
would you even want to do that if you're still making money off of it? Like, what does it matter
Yeah.
if you own it?
yeah, in that documentary, the Double Fine employees are all very upset. And this is happening while they're making the documentary. That was like a thing that was happening at that moment. So all these people filming are like,
dude, I'd be
the
mad.
tensions are high right now.
Kidding me? It's like I have to get to make a game for a Game Jam, and then after that, Microsoft just gets it. No, I wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. Like, why would I do that? It's like especially if it turns out really popular, all that money isn't going to me after I just made this game.
In the history of Xbox documentary, they openly talked about Lionhead Studios, which was the development team behind Fable originally, and how shutting them down was a mistake, and they took the time to learn from that moment. From now on, they would only buy studios and would give them a safe haven where they could create what they want.
right after shutting down how many?
Well, see, that's the thing. After this, there had genuinely not been any closes. Lionhead was the one in like 2016 where they're like, we can't do this again.
I can only hope that Operation Latitude's still going when The Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
Where am I? Oh, more recently in an interview with Kinda Funny Games, Phil Spencer admitted and took responsibility for the Xbox exclusive Redfall not being a great idea, and it being by the wrong studio, which is important because, as you might realize, that's when the studios came down. So Xbox admits it's their fault, and then they closed them for him. So that's cool.
Great. Yeah. What
can
an amazing.
Can you make a
That
live
just
service
shows
game for us?
so
You,
much.
you really good single player company. Can you make us a live service game? Oh, that sucked. Sorry about that. You're closed, by the way. Damn.
That's like especially okay, but like this makes me think like of like BioWare with Anthem, where it's like I don't think BioWare had ever made an online game up until this point. Like they've always made CRPGs.
They've
They-
The closest
Star
they had
Wars
done
MMO.
does BioWare do? Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
mhm.
Did they do what?
the
They did
Star Wars
the-
MMO.
They did the Star Wars MMO.
Yeah. And
Ah.
there was also multiplayer modes in the original releases of the Mass Effect. 2 and 3 had multiplayer components, didn't they not?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See,
pretty-
because like I
Three
always
did, and Dragon Age Inquisition
It-
also had that multiplayer mode.
yeah.
yes, but Inquisition's multiplayer mode was very.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it was hot garbage in all 3 games, but
Yeah, that's how I remember the Mass Effect 3 one being. It was also very bad, but it was there.
But it's like, but when I think of a good BioWare game, I think of like choice-driven RPGs. I don't like automatically think of the MMO. Like everybody, I think collectively associates BioWare with Dragon Age and Mass Effect because those I think were their biggest games. So like Anthem coming out from them was not like something that they couldn't do, but it was something that they were probably going to have trouble with. Because it was very unique among even MMOs, because it was more of a Destiny-like than it was a Wizards 101-like.
Yeah. All right, we are already on halfway through page 2 of my 3 notes, so we're speed running, believe it or not. Just in the last couple days, we're already like this week. Xbox president Sarah Bond does an interview with Bloomberg Live, while trying to do the corporate speak and all that. She accidentally said a few things, which is very funny. They threw her out to die. This was her first interview. She's pretty new for the company, being the president of Xbox. This was Matt Booty not wanting to answer the questions himself, so he was like, you do it. And she got destroyed. She was uncomfortable the entire interview. It's actually kind of sad because you're like, this poor woman. she was not prepared. She accidentally let go that Game Pass is bad for sales by explaining Starfield failed to sell, but also managed at failing to push Game Pass subs in general. So now we know that, like, yeah, when you look at it, like, yeah, lots of people have Starfield. It's like, yeah, but it did nothing for Xbox. It did nothing.
Yeah. Because it's just like all those people got it because they had Game Pass.
Yeah, so
they already had it.
everyone that month, instead of them getting $70 per person, it was like $9 per person.
Yeah.
In response to a question about the 4 studios close, oh no, I skipped one. She admitted that game dev times are way too long, and said that Final Fantasy VII Remastered is an example of a quick turnaround game nowadays. The game that's in parts, and we only got part 2 recently.
That's what they call quick turnaround?
Yes.
I really don't like that format too. Like that is part of the reason I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remastered, is because I really don't like the format of releasing pieces of a game. The last game I remember actually playing that released game parts, like released only parts, is Deltarune, and I'm still kind of frustrated that like part 3 isn't even out.
Yeah.
Although I don't blame Toby Fox, because he's like one guy. Like I understand, because he's again just one guy. But like, imagine like AAA studios where they have like hundreds of people doing this stuff.
Yeah, every single time I've been even slightly interested in one of those games, I just wait until they're all released, and then I buy the physical version with all of it on it.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah,
Well,
I've always.
Though
waited.
that makes them think that nobody's interested if everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe don't
You
release
also
your
got to
game
take
shit.
into account like balancing crunch versus release time,
Yeah.
because too much crunch is bad.
I'm sorry. I really don't think Telltale's Minecraft story mode needed to be 4 parts, and also just 2 whole games 4 parts each. I'm sorry.
I think that Okay, but I
just
think that
remember the
story
pig
mode
dying and then
games.
disappearing. That was funny.
I think that story mode games do that because like Life is Strange did that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's all of
Well-
Mara. It's just a cheap way of making you come back to beat the game that you're buying.
Yeah.
Come back in a couple
Also,
months so we get more of your engagement.
speaking of Life is Strange, because I always have to say this every time, hot take: the ending of Life is Strange is bad.
I don't think
It
that's a hot
sucks.
take. Most people have turned on
Yeah,
that
no,
game.
I think that the ending is just terrible. It's just such a stupid trolley problem.
Well, and isn't it like a complete letdown from like the actual amount of anything that there was in the game up to that point?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, there was like decent choice throughout the most of it, and then this one you only have two choices, and it's literally just the trolley problem.
All right. In response to the question about the 4 studios closed, she says, "We take our responsibility very seriously. Also, the Fallout TV show was a hit." Which, yes, that question she deflected was like, "Well, Fallout did good," which I will remind you, they had no part in.
It was
Yeah,
a game.
just
it
like
was
with
a
all
show.
the
got
money-
It was a game.
Bethesda after that was.
Yeah, that was well in production before they were bought out. And the same thing happened with Modern Warfare 3. They've been like, yeah, Call of Duty this year has been really good for us. It's like that game came out like 3 days after you bought them. You had nothing to do with that game. You just, like, the two most impactful things for you are things you had nothing to do with. That being Call of Duty and the Fallout show.
To be fair, I also don't think they had much to do with Starfield, except for the fact that it was a Xbox Game Pass only.
That one I don't think they had their fingers in it a little bit, but was mostly like managed wise. I don't think they did much content fucking around with the game that way. Because
You know
it
what?
had been in
They
development
might
for
have
a long
rushed
time.
it.
Weren't they the
may have
ones that
rushed
wanted
it
there to be
because, like,
more planets, or was that
No.
Todd Howard?
No, that
No,
was Todd.
Todd Howard said there'd be thousands of them. It was like, really, Todd? Why not just like 10 cool ones?
yeah, because like, well, Todd Howard, I think, wanted it to be like Skyrim plus, well, what's that game?
No
The
Man's
one where,
Sky?
yeah, he wanted it to be like Skyrim plus No Man's Sky, I think.
Yeah, which I think is funny that he did that, because it'd be like Sean Murray of Hello Games coming out and doing what he did with his game again. Because if you remember, he got shit on for saying 16 times the detail for Fallout 76, the game that he had nothing to do with, but they made him show it off because he's the Fallout guy. And then after realizing that people would make fun of him, he comes out and then it's like, there will be thousands of planets, all fully explorable. It's like, you idiot! Do you
I'm gonna
realize
be
what
honest,
you've just done?
I think he's fully aware that people make fun of him for this, though.
Six-
I think he leans into it even.
16 times. I reference that all the time. 16 times the detail.
And like literally all that's different is the lighting.
Yeah. The God rays
Although the
coming
lighting
through the
is good.
trees.
I will admit, the lighting in 76 is good. I wish the graphics settings were a little bit more in depth because it doesn't look amazing. I'll give them that.
In response,
But it does look better. Sorry.
You're okay. In response to a question about Tango Gameworks specifically, she said that there is no one size fits all when it comes to success.
Well, I mean, she's got that right.
Yeah. So she basically confirmed herself that your game can be an amazing hit and you'll still be closed down for it because it didn't do enough. Your game could make money, but it didn't make enough. Goodbye.
I think that like hell will freeze when they like close if they end up closing Bethesda because like people would kill each other over that.
So now just as we're about to get to the third one in this style that I was referencing earlier. So we now know that Xbox blames themselves for Redfall but closed Arcane anyway.
Yeah.
Poor Arcane. They just really tried.
And they acknowledged that Tango Gameworks made an amazing game that everyone loved, closed them anyway. Now get ready for this one.
Oh boy.
She then told Bloomberg Live that they are going to be launching a mobile experience. Experience. It's a game specific app store. That's what it is. But they're making it sound shiny. They will start with in-house games like Call of Duty Mobile, Candy Crush, and Minecraft, then branch out to other studios and publishers.
So they're making their own store.
Like an app store for your phone?
Yes, which in my own notes I said there is possibly a time where Xbox pays Samsung enough. So on a new phone you open up, there's Google Play, Samsung Store, and the Xbox whatever app, and you'll just have 3 app stores on your phone. It's pre-installed.
I already hate.
think I would actually stab somebody.
I mean, I'd rather have it than Facebook, and that's already.
I was about to say, yeah, it's like I already hate Facebook just being there.
Yeah.
Like I can't uninstall it because it's just hardwired onto my fucking phone. That's some bullshit. I never use this app.
But the reason why I say this is the other studio that they full on straight up closed was a mobile game studio who made Mighty Doom. Wow, they'd probably be useful around on your mobile app store, wouldn't they? That'd be cool having them around still, wouldn't it?
I played Mighty Doom.
Yeah, that's one of the studios that closed. So Xbox is making an app store, but your game's not good enough. Closed. Also, your game, we blame ourselves. Closed. Your game is awesome. Closed.
Dude, it's like it's like that meme of the IRS and taxes where it's like, I pay this much. Is that okay? Jail.
At this point, I'm starting to think they've just got like a dartboard with all their studios on it. And they're like, we need to make budget cuts. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Oh, well.
Yeah. And what's funny is those are the 3 that fully got closed. The 4th one was a support studio that they merged with with the main ZeniMax studio behind ESO, which they were already supporting. So
did they own ZeniMax or just Bethesda?
They own all of ZeniMax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they bought all of ZeniMax.
Because ZeniMax is its own company, and it's a private company. I remember trying to learn about them for like a school project because I was like, oh, just like do a whole thing on a company you like. And I was like, I can't find out shit about ZeniMax because they're a private company and there's no public records.
Yeah, they went to ZeniMax like, can we have Bethesda? And they were like, no. It's like, well, can we have you? So yeah, they have ZeniMax Studio and everything. So ESO is under them. Fallout 76 is fully under them, all of it.
Do you think that the Bethesda building is still in DC?
Probably. I don't see why they would move it.
That's fair.
And the last one is she confirmed that big Activision games would be on Game Pass this year, but the rumors are also if Call of Duty hits it, the price will raise because they don't want to miss out on all that money. So that's your thing. If Call of Duty does hit Game Pass this holiday season, that's also going to come with a price hike probably. And
it's like the opposite of a discount.
And that's been Xbox's very no good week or 2 weeks. Just everyone's been digging all this stuff up. It's like, wow, look at all these interviews and stuff where you blatantly talk about the opposite of what you just did. And look at all this information we now have showing how stupid you were to choose the 3 studios you did. Also, just in general, wow, look how kind of a terrible company you are by trying to take all these poor little teams like, oh, I want to Double Fine's doing a game jam. Let's do that. And then it's like, all your games are ours. They're ours.
All your games belong to us.
All your games are belong to us.
That.
I award myself 1 point.
+2. You're gonna award yourself 1 point, then you're gonna attack us directly to our life totals.
What's funny is I already did, so I'm not actually. I'm still at 2 points.
Are you gonna attack us directly to our life totals? Is that what I'm gathering?
Yes.
You're gonna attach a. You're gonna.
I'm pretty sure you're making a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, but I don't actually know. Maybe you're not, but that's where my mind's going.
Well, because you said +1, and I immediately thought +1/+1, so I was making a magic reference.
Oh,
but nobody says attacking
magic.
somebody directly to their life total. They just say swing at face.
I don't even say that. I'm saying I'm doing 2 damage to you.
Well, also, you know,
I'm damaging you. Better watch out.
I'm gonna attach this moonlight spear and swing at face.
These are all very big words for me. All right, that was oh shit! It's the news. Very good, everyone. Very good, me. 1 point.
Segment's name still.
So, what?
I didn't hear
What?
you, Dusty. Love was talking.
Oh, I didn't know they were talking.
Can you not hear me?
You
were a little.
were a little quiet. Did you lean away from your microphone?
Why am I muffled?
I think you just leaned away from your microphone when you were talking.
I leaned a little bit.
Well, the microphones
Well,
are
then
very
don't do that.
sensitive like that. If you want to
Don't
lean
do
back,
that.
you need to get yourself a shotgun microphone and have full on an audio guy holding a microphone above you.
Oh, here, hold on. Let me adjust the armature.
A
real
boom pole operator.
Yeah, you got a boom pole with
Dude,
a.
okay, but imagine streaming with somebody holding a boom like right behind you.
What's funny is I have a boom pole and I have a shotgun mic. I could jokingly set that up and just
Dude,
have one
okay,
above me.
if you ever do like live streaming with webcam, just like call me in and I will stand behind you trying to dangle the boom mic over your head.
I'm speed running Little Kitty Big City. You get tired and the boom comes crashing down into my lap.
So I will absolutely fuck with you with the boom. Like I will like try to dip it in your mouth and shit. Just
All
dip
right.
it down really hard in your face for 1 second.
All right.
It is now time for the main event. That was the news. No mini games were triggered this time.
The squad lives on.
Tune
For
in
now.
next time.
Don't forget the promise you made.
So they say that so fucking much. I want them all to shut up. I want them all to shut up so bad. I hear them.
Oh
in
yeah,
my
that's one of
dreams.
my notes.
It's in my notes too. Okay, but like, since we're now talking about Haze, can I just say the biggest 2 notes that I have written down? The main character sounds like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, and
Wow.
and there's a Wilhelm scream.
Yep.
There's
there
a
is.
There is.
there's a Wilhelm scream.
So just really quickly, I think 3 of the 4 of us beat Haze. Oh yeah. Well, I recommended Haze, the 2008 Ubisoft game developed by Free Radical. This game basically killed the studio and doomed them to die.
It really
For good
did.
reason.
I'm pretty sure Free Radical is the Time Splitters guys, and this killed them. This game.
Again, good reason.
And then after this, it killed them enough. After this game set them towards their failure. This game released, they became Crytek UK, and then I think they made another game or 2, and then they were dead. So
They
like,
bled out.
they did. This game was a slow bleed out for them.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
I think I might have kind of a hot take about this game. I don't know.
Yeah?
What's your take?
I'll probably give it the best rating. I'm betting that right now.
Well, it's not an F tier game, but it's close.
This is on the same level to me as the PS3 Battleship game, where growing up and having this game talked about around me, people are like, "Oh, it's this, and it's bad for being this," and I play them like, I don't think it's that though. Like, it's not good, but it's not that. It's not what you explained.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get into it as this conversation goes on longer.
So what are we going to start with? Because I think we all have very vitriolic opinions about everything.
We got to start with this with the story
plot.
summary.
Yeah, I'm going to give a base plot synopsis, which is not going to be very long. If you know what you're doing, you can beat this game in like 4 hours. I took longer than that, but I'm pretty slow at games. I take my time.
Yeah, I was trying to investigate everything so I could give it a good
check
review.
on the emulator and see how long it took me to.
Yeah, you can see you can find playthroughs that are like 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that.
Well,
For sure, I probably played the longest, and I think it was literally just because I didn't have motion controls. Do not play this game on an emulator if you don't have motion controls,
Yeah,
like a PS3 controller or anything like that, because if you get set on fire in the game, you just have to burn to death. There's no other way to put yourself out unless you have motion controls. You simply cannot beat it without it.
Yeah, this game is early enough in the
PS.
PS3 that they were pushing 6-axis controls. They were pushing that.
Yes, and I was playing it with an Xbox controller because I didn't want to plug in my PS5 controller, and I don't have any PS4 controllers at work anymore.
So yeah,
6 hours is how long it took me.
how long?
6 hours.
Yeah, okay. I was even longer than that. It took me a couple days to slowly beat this game. As late as I finished it just a couple of hours before this podcast. I was down to the wire.
I think 6 hours for me as well, but I didn't end up completing it because my laptop cord got destroyed.
Yeah.
5 hours, boy.
5 hours. Yeah, that it's 4 or 5 hours seems to be what people tend to do it at. So you are Mr. Carpenter. You are a part of Mantle, a military that uses a drug called nectar.
Yep.
Dumb name.
Yes.
Dumbass fucking name.
You realize that, or Carpenter realizes that they're the bad team, probably, wink wink, and switches sides.
Are we the baddies?
And then you joining the enemy team, quote unquote, you start to fight back towards Mantle. You lose your armor. You no longer have access to the drug. Gameplay changes quite a bit, which we'll get into.
I will actually say I like the gameplay change.
Yes, I actually prefer the other half, which I think is pretty funny.
I told y'all.
But I also think they got some things backwards, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
And then you slowly just start killing everyone. You take down the... From that moment, from switching, your main goal is just to figure out why they're fighting, which your friend just decides to tell you at the bottom of a container ship randomly. And then from there, it's, okay, well, we need to shut down the production and delivery of nectar. And then that takes you like 2 hours of gameplay. And that's mostly what you do, is slowly getting there. And then the game abruptly ends in a helicopter.
With the
Wait, really?
least climactic ending ever, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Because I was right there then. Because I was like right about to assault the factory, and I was like, okay, I gotta go sleep, man.
there's another thing after the assault in the factory, but yeah.
Did you get to the cable cars?
I was in the first helicopter ride with the least functional minigun ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You still had probably like an hour and a half of gameplay in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did forget one key part about that little ending there.
But what? Well, that was the base plot synopsis. Now we go into talk what details you want.
Yeah.
Go on, love.
You go first. I have a lot of notes.
So do I.
Okay, so I'll address my story complaint, and then I'll revolve it to love, and we can revolve it again. But like, my complaint about the story is that when you want to do a story where somebody starts as evil and then moves to good, there has to be like a believable reason that we can tangibly see for why they believe that these guys are the good guys. We can automatically hate Duval, like our literal like commander, the second we meet him.
Yes.
He is an absolute bastard the whole game. Us not seeing this is stupidity on our part. Like, there's no way that you would be able to putting up with this guy in a room for as long as our character did. Like,
yes.
He also has some of the dumbest lines. I'm a real carnivore.
You're a vegan between meals.
Yeah, our main character has to be brain damaged, and also the luckiest son of a bitch in the world to, one, have had this stupid mental cognition to want to join Mental after just seeing things in the news about a guy that eats people in a third world country. Like, wow, I see that shit all the time. You don't see me joining the military. But it's like, then after that, like while he's like turncoating, right? There's these Black Ops guys that are supposed to be like elite members of Mendel that are like hunting him down in the swamp. And I'm just like briskly walking by them because the run speed in this game is turtle adjacent. And I'm just like somehow outrunning them while there's this random rebel dude just standing in there leading me onward. And I'm like, dude, how are we not both dead? They have guns. We're just two idiots running in the swamp. We somehow make it away from from a high-tech, fully militarized group that is high on drugs that make them super soldiers. There's no way. There's no way. Also, mild story complaint. Nectar's just such a fucking dumb on-the-nose name. Like for a drug.
Well, they're bee themed.
I know they're bee themed, but like
mantle.
I feel like they came up with the drug name first and then everything else after.
Attack of the Bee theme.
Attack of the Bee theme.
Like I get it, right? I 100% get the name, why it's named that. Stupid. It just sounds stupid. Everybody referring to it like that.
Yeah.
You'd think they have like a street name or something.
Yeah. Going back to what you said with you as the player knowing that your leaders and his friends are total pieces of shit, but the Carpenter doesn't, the player character. There's many points in this game that does that. The mechanics and the story don't actually meld very well. So the reason,
yeah, because you'd feel like there'd be a choice or something.
Yeah, so
considering how much they talk about morality and stuff.
Yes, which keeps getting brought up. The reason that Carpenter doesn't know is because of the drug. And the reason he starts to kick out of it is it's later revealed by the one friend that he cares about was walking behind you and turned down your nectar
I got to that part.
Supply.
He wasn't walking behind you. It was when you're on that first elevator ride and the other people are talking, that dude goes, "Oh, hold on, your gear's slipping. Let me get that for you."
Yeah.
And he just kind of reaches over and grabs your cock.
Yeah.
And that's how he turns down your... Because that's what happens. Like,
so that's where the lever is.
You can shoot the lever in-game. You can shoot it. It's under your shoulder.
He reaches down in front of you and does a thing.
That was his distraction. He was... He
had to distract you. He had to distract you to completion.
He's mind freaking.
It makes me think of that magician meme, this dude busted a nut. Check again.
But yeah, after that moment, that's when you
get exposed to the horrors.
Yeah, Carpenter starts seeing what he shouldn't. And then that's when he starts realizing, wait a minute, these are pieces of shit. But we're already an hour in the game, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, I could have told you that.
And then like scene 2 after you find it, after he's told that. Go on.
I would like to add to that point a little bit with some of the dialogue that I wrote down of what some of these people say. Let's see here.
Like dropping the F slur? Like constantly?
Well, yeah, they say that a lot.
Multiple times. But then you've got, let's see, where is it? At one point, one of the people on your actual crew says, "That was like taking candy from a crippled baby." They take pictures of that dude whose hands they cut off or finger they cut off.
Yeah.
The point where you find the dying pilot who's totally savable, but they are exclusively concerned about the nectar shipment that was stolen.
Yeah. You find out.
I remember the pilot's like, "Can you see me still?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point,
should the pilot
right after I put the note in,
is a thing?
I guess.
Right after the note that I put in that said we're definitely the bad guys, I have a note of when I accidentally hit an ally with stray fire, at which point he says, "Do that again, tough guy, and I'll gut you like a $10 hooker."
Yeah.
Also, when you're playing as a rebel, you get their like combat dialogues. You just like read them more, I guess. And you'll hear the Mendel guys go, "I'm gonna pound your bullet holes."
Yeah.
I'm adding that. I didn't even think about that. I'm adding that to notes for later.
Yeah.
The
pilot.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, in the cutscene, he's like, "You can still see me, right?" Or something like that. It's like, "Yeah, I see you." And then I noticed if you go back there after the little cutscene of him dying, he's gone.
Yeah. Very
That's while you're
convenient.
still on the drugs, though, so you don't see dead people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which again,
I
guess
see dead people.
I guess I'll go into this right now since we're on this topic that I just added that to. So many times characters will say, they're laying down and playing dead. But the point is that Nectar is supposed to not make you not see them, obviously. So you're trying to hide that from people so they don't necessarily know how much damage and death they're causing. But it seems like everyone knows how much death they're causing anyway. They just can't physically see it when that's not what should be happening. The pilot saying,
Yeah.
"Can you see me?" Should the pilot know what's going on? I really don't feel like they should.
Yeah, that implies that the pilot knows what's happening.
Yeah. And all the time, like I said, just random soldiers, they're playing dead. But then every time you stand back up after healing while laying down, they go, "Another one," which means they think you're just a different person immediately again. They didn't
You
see
just
get
like
up.
popped into existence right in front of them.
Yeah. And they're like, "It's a different guy." So I'm so I was telling Wulfryk, it's like the video game version of when you stare into a dark corner of your house trying to trick a ghost, you think you see them. It's
Yeah,
I think
you're
of
just
like
yelling,
I
"They're
know you're in
playing
panic.
dead! They're playing dead!" And you're sitting there waiting, like, is anyone gonna stand up? Is anyone gonna do it? Not knowing that's actually going on.
You know what? With that addition, I kind of love it, but it makes me think a lot of like Skyrim stealth mechanics when there's a dude just looking straight at you while you're just slightly crouched down and he still can't see you because your sneak level's too high.
Yeah. But this whole mechanic brings up questions. Like, surely you'd ask questions when you kill your first person, they fall over and just disappear. You're like, what the fuck?
You know,
they're
yeah,
actively
you would
killing.
ask questions. Maybe
Say-
that's why there's so many bodies in that bin because
Yeah.
like every single person who decided, everybody who wasn't completely fucked up before joining the military was like, yeah, you know what? Why did these people disappear?
Same
And then they're
thing-
like, okay, we gotta execute you, Code Haze.
It's the same thing for the. Oh yeah, I forgot, but that's the name is
Yep.
of the game is
Yep.
Haze for the code Haze when the people are off the drug. The other thing is like, imagine you're on this drug that's supposed to make you super smart, but unbeknownst to you, it's also making you not be able to see dead things, dead people, and all the death and destruction you're causing. And all of a sudden, the turret next to you is shooting the ground. Apparently, it's like, what are you shooting? Because the turrets can shoot you while you're laying down. They're not.
Do they
Yes,
actually?
they
I
can.
didn't know that.
Yes. So again, it's like this turret's shooting the ground next to me. What's going on? And why does it sound like meat is being destroyed over there?
Why does this sound like a bad butcher
Why
over
is
there?
the floor so
like this?
wet?
The story and the mechanics
Also,
just do
yeah,
not
wouldn't
meld.
they step in blood? Like, wouldn't that just happen a lot? Where they like step in blood and just like, wait, that's like a tripping hazard at that point. You could
Yes.
effectively trip Mendel soldiers by just dumping buckets of blood down.
And if laying down and playing dead, I just thought this. If laying down and playing dead makes you disappear, that means that these soldiers trip and disappear for a second.
Okay, but like, if laying down and playing dead makes it to where they can't see you, why wouldn't the soldiers just lay down and shoot? Why wouldn't they prone shoot at all times?
Well, because the people they're fighting don't have the armor or the drug, so it wouldn't help them. Now you're just hiding from your own teammates. Where are you?
No, I know, but like
No,
the
she's
people
saying,
fighting
why don't the
Mendel,
guerrilla
like the rebels.
fighters?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's true. If they know that's
Why
what
would-
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know that's what happens, why don't you just always shoot from prone and then just lay down the second they start shooting at you?
Yeah. So
I did have
Oh, sorry.
I did have another funny note that I have for comparison of their behavior. They're like crack fiends because when they're all drugged up, they're hyper and happy, and they get so angry if anything happens to the nectar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole point of that section is the mechanics and the story do not meld. Everything the story is telling you, and then you look at the mechanics, it's this story is impossible. The mechanics ruin the story and vice versa. Because so
Yeah.
many
Also,
things
as
have
an
to
aside
not
here,
happen.
My phone is at 3%, so I might end up like
What?
not being able to finish. It was at 40, but like BDO is draining my battery pretty
Plug it
harshly.
in.
Yeah.
I can't because I can't have headphones and charger plugged in at the same time.
Can you not join on your Steam Deck or something?
She doesn't have one.
I don't have a Steam Deck.
Oh, I
She's
thought
not
you
as
did.
cool as me
I thought you did. I don't know why.
because I have one.
Well,
You're gonna have to let me use that when I'm there.
Maybe.
Join on the PSP. Is that? I'm gonna have to try that.
So if I just drop out randomly, you know what happened.
All right.
I'm not gonna ask you guys to like drop the stream or anything like that. But
All right.
we'll let you know what game I pick
Yes.
at the end.
yeah,
obviously.
if that like happens after.
Yes.
So yeah, the campaign, the story, and the mechanics do not meld. Everything's wrong. So many things have to not happen. So many things would have to happen that the story just does not want to happen. With how many things are disappearing, everyone has to know the disappearing's happening while not knowing the disappearings are happening. To the point
Also,
where the characters are yelling it. It's insane. The story.
Also, this story cannot happen in the age of the internet. Too many people would have found out by now that that what the war is actually about and just posted it online.
Yes. And
Good old ethnic cleansing.
and then the government would have to ban whatever social media app they're using.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Topical, but true. Literally what happened. Like they admitted it. They admitted it on live television. That was what they were doing.
This
Well,
game was
let's not get
16 years
too
ahead of its
political.
time. Wow.
Mhm.
Holy shit.
Okay, but if they did that, then yeah, it would be ahead of its
Yeah.
time. But yeah, there's just like so much of it that doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Because like even so far as why do these random soldiers have like they have okay, why do I like in the part where I'm in the swamp, because this is the mission I think I have the most issues with. Why am I able to hear the Black Ops people's radios as a random normal soldier who is only a sergeant?
You might be in the channel they're using.
The
That's
I
like
know,
an
but like
emergency broadcast.
they even say that like they're like, we need to talk on a different station. He might be listening, and it's
Yes.
like, wouldn't they do covert, like, wouldn't they do covert blue on blue action
no,
on
so
a unique station entirely? Like, wouldn't they do that on their own station?
No,
Because I
so-
feel like
I
if
feel the need to
we're-
remind you, these are people that when they do acts of terrorism, they shoulder bump and go boosh.
Boosh.
But I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Like but I feel like they would have kept it a little bit more hush hush, so more people don't just have to disappear. Because you have to imagine disappearing someone isn't cheap.
So,
Like
so I would like to remind you that as much as I just shout on the story, it does explain this actually. And that
Does
is
it?
they're rushing down to try to get you before they know for sure that you're in withdrawal and the drug's no longer in your system. They're rushing down to try to find you because they think there's still a
Okay.
chance they can get you back in the army, get your nectar thing working again. But then they
But, like-
realize, oh, it's been way too long now. Okay, switch channels. That's what happens.
But they start saying that they're going to exterminate you with extreme prejudice
Yeah,
before they've switched channels.
yeah,
You'd think they wouldn't have done that.
yeah, yeah.
That was their slip up.
when you first start moving in that area, they think you're still savable. That's
Yeah,
why they're
and,
rushing
like,
down and not.
This part I think is fine. When they then switch to exterminate him with extreme prejudice. Oh shit, we should use a different radio signal. He might be listening. That's what I'm like, dude, that's fucking stupid.
I mean,
Why would I have heard this?
IRL like ambulance drivers accidentally say things on the radio all the time. I
Yeah.
believe a sentence or two
It's a
slipping out.
believable slip up, but it is just still like I don't like plot devices that require the other people to be stupid for this to happen.
Well,
Normally,
It
I would
makes
agree,
sense,
but this
but
game
still.
explicitly points out that
Boosh.
these people are incredibly
That's
stupid.
fair. You know what? That's fair. I love how Duval wakes up at a camp full of armor, of militarized individuals, and then decides to start shooting at them immediately.
The dude's name is Watchstrap
Yeah.
Oh, and we're supposed to feel
because
bad
of
when
how
we kill him.
skinny he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're supposed to feel bad when we kill him with his own gun.
Yes.
That was just funny.
I thought it was funny. I went back to melee his body a couple times. I teabagged him actually.
I will also, this is when I'm going to start throwing in things that I actually kind of like about the story, because I do
Ugh.
kind of like parts about this game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that it would have been savable.
Oh,
There
absolutely.
are
I can
just
see a good
things
game in
that could have
here.
changed.
And over time, I will start talking about things that I think they need to switch. For instance, one thing I like is that multiple times through the game, they use the fear is just a chemical in your head. They use that line a couple times, but in different scenarios, and by doing that they mean different things.
Yes.
And different characters are saying it, and it just keeps accidentally being said. The first time they're being an ass to you because you're slightly afraid, they're like, "What a fucking pussy," and then the second time, the main leader of the militarized group says it, and he's meaning it, and it's like, "Hey, don't worry, we're gonna get through this. This war's gonna be over. I understand you're afraid, but through that, we can find bravery."
Yes.
And then later on it said, and it's this first guy again, Duval, but he's trying to say it as like, please be, you didn't get to this point, but in the boss fight with him, right before you kill him, he uses it as a, please go gentle on me. I know how you're feeling, but please don't do this. But it's the same line every time.
He also tells you not to tell his mom what he did.
Yeah, he dies
so...
saying, don't tell my mom what I did.
I don't think I know.
And the main character just goes, okay.
Those one-liners after killing.
Yeah, the main
my
character
mom.
has some really bad
Okay.
lines like that. The same one is there's a suicide scene in this game.
Oh
people
yeah,
kill
that
themselves.
one too.
Yeah, same thing. It's like, I did something bad, didn't I? I did something bad. Oh my god! Shoots himself. Then his friend's like, no, sir, blows off, and the main character just goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he
It's like-
does not try
I
to
think I remember
intervene,
this.
does not try to stop them.
You
No,
might-
that
you didn't
happens.
get
Okay,
there.
but like that's like the Black
after
Ops
where
guy
you are.
waiting for the turncoat to finish telling you about the bodies in the bin before shooting you.
Oh, that's what
before
that
shooting
blinking
him.
thing is. A video tells me what your phone battery is at. You're at 1% right now.
Oh yeah, I'm at 1%.
I was this whole time been like, why does she have this weird blinking rectangle on her thing on my screen?
I'm
What's your
going
battery?
to see about plugging it in, but it like my audio is going to be scuffed. So I'll be right back.
All right. So yeah, I like that, bringing back the same line over and over again, but having it mean
So,
different things. I
It's
actually like that.
interesting too, because my interpretation of that was vastly different.
What would you think?
I hope this
Um,
isn't too scuffed, guys.
It is a little scuffed, but you're understandable.
You know, it's
So
not
it's
as
doable.
scuffed as Lads was last time. so
Yeah.
you're
I don't
Okay,
know what
well,
I don't
as
know
long
what
as it's
caused that.
like listenable, but you guys are literally in my cupboard, so I'm kind of in a confined space right now.
Don't worry, you sound like you're talking out of a cardboard tube.
Yeah, the phone's in your cupboard. Well, good news. It sounds like you're talking to us through a cupboard, so the system works.
I'm like leaning in at like I'm talking to a child. It's the way I have to do
Yeah.
this.
I've turned you down on the recording, so you should sound okay. We can understand what you're saying, so this should be fine.
Understandable.
So from my perspective, when he says it's just chemicals thing, it's the animal part of your brain, that was me immediately going, oh no, this guy is going to turn around and be as bad as the last guy. He's just better at like the manipulation of it because he's not on the drugs. And that felt pretty confirmed to me when
At the end?
The end.
the
end is
helicopter
what-
ride away
Yeah.
where he's mirroring the same dialogue. He's like, they were just animals, you know?
Yeah. Calling the other team animals, saying they were
using it wrong in
Yeah.
the right hands.
a sword is only a weapon in the wrong hands. They were the wrong hands. They were a bunch of animals, and then the game just cuts to black.
I'll use
Wait,
it
that's how
right.
it ends?
Yep.
Yes. That's
Yeah, the guy even following is basically like, I'm gonna be the next villain. Game over. Game credits.
Yeah,
over.
Okay, so they
and
were
your
definitely
main
setting up
character-
for a second game. Like,
Yes.
your main character had nothing to say about that.
Well-
He's just sitting there like,
That's a lie. Once he realizes, he goes, "What?" And then that's his one line during the whole thing.
oh,
Another one-liner. What?
What? Don't
What?
worry. It's a sword in the wrong hand. They were with the wrong hands. They're just a bunch of animals. All we had
Just
was
a reminder.
they just had a
what I said.
realization of bad.
Just a reminder what I said. He sounds like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, and I mean that.
What?
He sounds like a pitched down Sonic the Hedgehog. The main character does.
Whoa.
Yeah, especially like when he's like really yelling. Like I just keep picturing like Sonic the Hedgehog speaking.
he's just. The funny thing is that he consistently continues to probably do the wrong thing through the entire.
Yeah.
In his defense, as much as I loathe to say this, there was really not a correct option. The correct option was eating chips on his couch and continuing to watch the news.
Yeah, stay in college was his correct option.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The game ends so abruptly, but it also shows like both of these guys are bad. It's just one is being run by a giant company who doesn't want the drug to be produced by anyone else, and the other one is an actual, basically going to be confirmed as like a terrible dictator. At that point, you should let us choose, have the reveal, and be like, okay, who do I follow? And then
Yeah, but
you
we
can
don't
have a
need
sequel that starts off at that moment.
The weird part is like we don't have any like evidence for why the other guy's evil. We just get like the teaser that he's evil, so we don't have anything to go off of.
As far as I can
Remember,
tell,
his vest is 100% cotton.
yeah. As far as I can tell, it's one of those things where, is Mansell bad? Yes, but it's a corporation that's controlling everyone, forcing everyone to be on drugs. So once the drugs come off, that's when you start seeing like the suicide scene. Like people are actually starting to realize, oh, I've done terrible things. And you know, and even Duval at that point, like was brought up earlier, he's like, don't tell my mom, because he wakes up and realizes how terrible things have been, but he just had no control over himself. So by the time you realize the guy you switched to is also bad, you're also realizing these guys didn't have control. It's the company above these guys that are actually bad. So it's one of those things where everything swaps by the end and just ends abruptly. And we never got a sequel, which is pretty funny. So this is very much a Call of Duty Ghosts moment, where it like this not great game actually kind of sets up something like, oh no, I would actually kind of like to see this in a sequel, and then we never got one.
Well, if again, mechanically the game doesn't really fit its themes of like morality and choice. If they had made a sequel that was like you get to choose who wins, Mendel or the other guy, I don't remember his name.
Remember your promise to Marino.
Marino.
Marino is his last
Yeah.
name. Don't remember his first name.
Skin coat. Yeah.
His first name is not Skin Coat.
Skin coat Marino. But like if we had like an actual choice between Marino and Mendel, like in a sequel, I would actually have zero complaint. Like I would be like, oh well, this game was just setting up the premise.
Yeah.
So if that was what they were going for, then yeah, okay, that works. Our character is still a dumbass, but I would understand it more if this is just like the setup to a universe.
Nah.
But
It was
also-
poorly executed.
Yeah.
Poorly,
No sequel.
yeah.
16 years later. What the hell?
Oh, no sequel. Okay, but like speaking of the game, I want to talk about mechanics for a second.
Yes. Let's do it.
The running. This
So slow.
game, it's fucking slow.
Yes.
It's so slow.
In the first half, you're kind of fast after you kill people, but when you're a rebel,
You're
no,
fast
you
when
forget.
you're on druggos, but like, another complaint. All of the guns seem to have the exact same weight, which is not much. Like, I never feel like I'm actually shooting a guy.
Yeah.
And when I was on the drugs, that makes sense, right? Like that makes sense. So you wouldn't really experience the weight of the guns. But when you're not, it's like the only guns that seem to have any weight are the shotguns. The gameplay loop feels like a slower version of a boomer shooter that is trying very hard to be Call of Duty or Halo, which it is trying to be Halo. But like
Kind of.
the way I ended up playing was just boomer shooter. I would just run at people with an SMG or an assault rifle, and I would always use the Mendel assault rifle because like as I'm running over their bodies because I'm just running and gunning because I want to make sure I go as fast as possible because this game's so slow. I would just run over their bodies and have their ammo.
That's what I did too.
Yeah, I basically effectively played it like a boomer shooter.
If I wasn't using their guns, you'd have to manually go to their body and push the pickup ammo button.
Mhm.
So there's
But
no
if you're
point
using
the
their
rebel
guns, then you don't got to do that. You just walk over their guns.
I also found that out of all the guns, the automatic ones were the ones that felt the best to use.
Yeah, they were the ones that actually killed people consistently. The shotguns seem to just always miss.
That's funny because I ended up heavily relying on the shotguns.
Well, I kept
don't
the
blame you,
shotgun
'cause
as
they
my
felt
backup
better.
weapon.
I always did too, yeah.
I had
But-
2 shotguns.
I had a really bad time aiming the shotgun a lot of the time.
Because the sensitivity's so low at base. And I didn't change it. I should have, but I didn't. Oh, misleading settings. Can I just talk about how I don't think this was an emulation thing entirely. The gamma, not
Oh,
gamma.
it was
It's
emulation.
contrast. Was it just the emulation?
Yes,
Because
this-
like I remember
This game looks fine on PS3. There's
yeah, but the
no
brightness setting
So
was kind of
your beach level wasn't as bright as the surface of the sun.
no.
Okay.
mine was.
I played on the
I'm
actual
jealous.
PS3. That was not a problem. I could see on the beach.
No,
Because
there
I
was
remember,
no seeing
like,
on the beach.
Not so, I don't know how the emulation would change this, but the brightness setting didn't actually change the brightness. It just changed the contrast.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I recognize that was an emulation issue, so I can't really
Okay.
help on the
So
game.
if that was an emulation issue, then I don't have a complaint about it then.
Yeah,
But if it turns out that it was an actual problem of like it only really actually affects contrast, then the complaint stands.
Yeah,
But if not, then no real complaint.
I will say that I don't know if the setting in the game is messed up because I didn't have to use it because the emulation was I didn't emulate.
Yeah.
So the game was fine.
Well, because like the game isn't super bright in
Yeah.
all the bright
So I
sections,
didn't
it's super
have to
dark
use
in all
the
the dark
settings.
sections.
So I don't know if the settings are weird or not. So I actually don't know.
Yeah. What else? Oh yeah. Can I just talk about how like, so I'm getting that like a mild thing. The vehicles. The vehicles felt really good actually, minus the controls. The control scheme, I will say, the whole game is bad. I really just don't like the control scheme at all. Firing with the bumpers is stupid. I switched that straight away. But like once you have the control scheme down, you can't remap L2, by the way. So you can't like.
I was able to.
Did you remap it with the emulator, or did you remap it in game?
No, I remapped everything in game.
I don't remember being able to remap the Haze button.
Yeah, no, that's L1 for me.
Okay, so then I will scratch that complaint. But I will say the driving was actually, in my opinion, good. Like I
thought
actually
it was
liked the
good.
driving. See, that's the thing is like I didn't like the regular gameplay so much that I liked the driving a lot. The problem is all the driving sections sucked. They were all like, "Oh, you have to be careful through here. There's mines," and it's like, "This is really fast driving. Why did you make the driving feel this good if you wanted me to go slow?"
Yeah, of the 3 like quote unquote warthog runs, the third one in the truck is the best. Because that
Is
one
it actually?
Yes, because that one there's a lot less of the on both sides of the wall in the canyon you're on, there's mines. So if you at all stray from the exact middle, you're dead. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen. In the second one, you're on your 4-wheeler, so you're just actually taking bullet damage the whole time. Plus, it's more
And there's
open.
also mines.
There's mines everywhere. Yeah, with the truck, there's a small section of the little mines that pop up after you pass over them. So if you're able to keep your speed, they don't do anything to you. And besides that, it's don't fall off the canyon because you're on a cliff. So you have to actually like drift and stuff. That one
Yeah,
felt
with,
the best.
Like I'm okay with that, but the mines being overused were such shit.
Yeah,
I
the
hated
third
that.
one had less of that. The third one was mostly ram through walls and move trucks out of the way by going as fast as possible. Don't
Good.
fall off a cliff, that kind of thing. The third one's the best.
Good. I didn't make it to the third one, I don't think.
Funny enough, I struggled with that third section where you're talking about the mines popping up because no matter how fast I went, I was able to get past a bunch of them, and then they started popping up out of sequence, and the ones in front of me before I'd even gotten close to them started popping up beforehand.
So that's
Can I just say,
probably an
worst
emulation thing because it worked fine for
Probably.
me.
Can I just say worst landmines ever? They pop up before you even get close to them, which just alerts you that they're there.
Yes, they're like, "Hey, I'm here. Don't get any closer." They're bouncing betties, but they give you a warning. They're like rattlesnakes. Like, don't get any closer.
They're rattlesnake baddies.
Yeah, what a terrible design. A whole field starts popping up. You're like, what the fuck?
Like it's good game design. I will give them that. Like them having a warning so that you don't just like not know why you died. But like it's terrible in universe design.
Yeah.
Like it's
The
terrible storytelling.
The implications of the world are like, who designed these?
Well, it's also one of the only times where the game gives you a warning about anything.
That's kind of true. Yeah,
do
the
you
game
mean?
usually did just give you like, oh, you have to figure out how burning works like right now, or you get to.
Yeah, the Warthog runs, somehow Warthog runs were so complex that they couldn't figure them out. Here's a hint. Don't put a lot of like hard to dodge explosions in it. Warthog runs are more you're racing the stage itself. Don't put a ton of enemies out there to actually block me and then get my car blown up and then have to walk to the next car.
I mean, that's effectively
terrible.
what I did in the first one, as I just walked.
Yeah, that's what the first one, especially with all those mines on the cliff face. I blew up every vehicle that they had. I ended up beating it on foot.
And they're like, you should really get a car. I'm like, I wish you'd supply me with one that wasn't made of paper mache.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Race the stage, race a timer, that kind of thing. That's what makes Warthog runs fun. Even in the Halo Warthog runs, you see like the elites and all the enemies are like reacting when you go by, like, oh, there they are, get them. Okay, they're gone. We need to escape as well. You know, it's mostly they're running and then you just happen to drive by. So like, can I get the free kill? But these Warthog runs, like the enemies are actually trying to stop you, and it makes them so terrible. Because you turn a corner and it's like, okay, with your weak vehicle, you have to ram through 3 vehicles. It's like, okay, well, my vehicle's gonna explode. The game just smiles at you. It's like, well, you better do it. You fucking better do it.
Dude, the amount of times that I bailed out just for everybody else in my car to die the second I jump out is the funniest thing, though. Like the amount of times my like random companion passed away just without me is like, I think it was like the first rebel that I was with got shot off the back of my Warthog. He got shot off the back of my 4-wheeler like immediately.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to get this man's trust, and then he immediately died for it.
They won't drive the vehicles.
Ooh, that's a bad.
Yeah.
Also, side note, the revive animation, because I just remembered about the rebels.
Come on, get the fuck up.
Contextual hand.
Get the fuck up, dumbass.
Don't. What are you doing?
What are you doing down there? You just wave your hand at them, say some nice words, and they're like, "Oh, these bullet wounds, they're nothing. I can do this."
Come on, get up. Hurry up.
Reminds
now.
me of the weird hand you have when you pull levers.
Yeah.
Contextual hand.
Contextual hand.
It honestly looks like for those animations, you spawn a third arm that is too close to your body, and you just.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like the Fallout animatic where you like take radiation, like the Vault Boy takes radiation, he grows a third hand out of the middle of his chest.
I would like to bring up one of my favorite moments in the game.
Yeah,
the moment where when you're at the very top of the container ship where you're in where like the captain would steer. You have to wait like a minute and a half for them to come
Oh
the
yeah.
door to get to you. And you're just standing
Oh
there
god,
watching
the
it, like,
door.
Yeah, you have to
It
just stand there
sucks because
watching
I
that.
kept getting killed at that
You know what's
part,
funny?
and then we go back to that checkpoint and be like, okay, gotta wait another minute for them to cut the door open.
Or that one scene where you completely lose your nectar and you have to fight like 20 freaking rebels and like 2 of them have flamethrowers and you don't have any nectar. And right before you do that run, you have a cutscene where you look at a helicopter and that's it.
So I am going to share a little bit of my notes because, as you know, I take very
Yes.
short, sweet bullet point notes.
Yeah, I think to wrap it up, if you have any notes, we'll go in order. Just speed run the rest of your notes now. Let's see what.
So here's my notes real quick. My name is Shane Carpenter. I'm a good guy with a good heart. Guy was born last year. Dialogue cringe as hell. I'm sending big love to the homies rocking it on the front line. We get drugged up. Ethnic cleansing is a thing. Ha, got wood, corporal wood, sir. I've heard all the jokes. Jesus, Harold Christ. I will die of cringe before I get to shoot anything. Changes to settings don't take effect until you close the settings menu. That was like taking candy from a crippled baby. They care about nectar more than people, like crack fiends, hyper, and get angry if anything happens to it. Hip-hop music just kind of happens, like whenever
Yeah,
it
it
feels
does.
like it. It's kind of confusing. I hate vehicle combat. It tricked me. It felt fine at first, and then the combat happened. Mini Warthog run sucks ass. Allies can overdose. If they do, they turn red and shoot everyone and anyone until they return to normal. We're definitely the bad guys. Do that again, tough guy, and I'll gut you like a $10 hooker. Is there a medal for the most badass gangster? Because that's me. Too many cutscenes. Game really hammers home morality. Duval is raging racist. When on drugs, pale gray skin, bloodshot eyes. I'm racist. Mongoose, I mean mule, controls like ass. What about changing sides gives me the ability to scavenge ammo, dodge roll, and steal guns? Yes, we are the bad guys. NPCs talk too much and repeat too often. Enemies materialize randomly. Stuff explodes with no indication. Playing dead doesn't work sometimes. The screen bobbing just sucks. Vehicles extra suck. Game direction often unclear. Constant dialogue urging me forward as if there was some way I could be there sooner than I was, entirely outside of my control.
So true.
Okay, so I do have something to say about this because this makes me think of with the mounted gun where you're supposed to shoot the rock next to the barricade. This was an emulation thing, so this wasn't a problem with the game. But even at the lowest possible brightness setting, it was so goddamn bright that I couldn't see the
Yeah, that's
barricade. I couldn't see past the second checkpoint building they had there, let alone the rock behind. I had to leave the gun, get up, go all the way back to the barricade and just take note that there's a big rock there that looks destructible, and then walk my happy ass all the way back and then just take pot shots in the general location that I just came back from until I hit it.
My last 3 notes. Met crazy original boss, beat his ass. Said I was brainwashed. Final cutscene ends with him crying as he dies. Tells me not to tell his mom. Ends with new boss saying what the old boss said. Fuck this game.
Yeah, basically. The only thing I really have left to talk about is the fact that I actually think there's a good game in here, but a lot of it is because they swapped it. For instance, I think this game would be better if the Call of Duty style healing, where you heal over time, was on the mantle guys, and the normal war guys actually had to deal with health packs.
Yeah.
They swapped them to make it more like Halo, and versus this game's weirdly like Call of Duty versus Halo, right as that battle was about to heat up, which is really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that. I think a lot of what are my notes? A lot of them are just swapped like that. I think that's the main one, is just doing the health pack, the healing system swap helps a lot to make you feel the normal guys are weak or having to deal with health packs.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Were any of you able to get the multiplayer working?
I didn't
Yes.
try.
Okay.
I probably should have. I have the PS3.
Was the multiplayer okay?
Well, did you like the gameplay in any regard for walking around and shooting?
No, not necessarily.
So, the multiplayer is team deathmatch, and you get a pick whether you're playing as a Mantel soldier or a rebel, and their
That's kinda
mechanics
cool.
are exactly as they are from the campaign.
So
Although
not
I didn't
terrible.
have any real players with me, so I could not tell you what playing dead looks like on the Mantel side if they see you play dead.
That would have been funny if that is just like how that works. The other person just turns invisible.
Disappear.
Yeah. And then you just see them getting up later. Also, like if you just saw somebody turn invisible in front of you, like there's like a dropping animation, I'm sure. Like actual players would just like that would never work on them, right? Like unless you did that before they were looking at you.
Well, unless it does like the full on like death drop and then a fade out, or like they do in the campaign.
Yeah, if it was similar to how you would actually look dying, then it might work. But I don't know.
It might work. It depends on if they do like a you killed this person type of thing at the bottom, or even if like
Yeah, if there's a kill feed, they just have to lie.
yeah, if there's a kill feed, they either have to lie. And another thing I also bring up is that if there's somebody who's like overshooting, you could still just actually die, like while you're laying down. If there's somebody who's like shooting like and then just like keeps shooting after they shoot everybody, like they would probably just like keep shooting you. I feel like a lot of the people on Mintel would keep shooting corpses, like their general location.
I feel like once they start going down, you'd immediately start shooting feet.
I was gonna say, because like if you've played the multiplayer, you'll fall for that once, right? Maybe twice.
Yeah.
And then you're just gonna start firing at anything and everything.
Yeah. I don't know. It might work, but I didn't give it a try. I should have though. I wonder if the servers are still
we
up
probably
officially.
all should have tried, but I mean, we had some limited time issues because it took us a while to get the emulator to work on a couple of us.
It took
Took
one
me.
person some time.
And I beat it before the other two.
Yeah.
So,
Y'all just waited.
Yeah, well, I did.
I did it right away.
I ran into spots that I had to take breaks from. I'm sorry.
Nah,
Speaking
I'm
of walking slow, having to walk the truck and then you die,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the spawn point would be where you start walking the truck. So it takes you 5 minutes to get back to the bridge.
fun
Yeah,
fact.
the slow walk plus the save positions was not fun.
You still walk faster than that truck. You can leave it behind accidentally. You'll think it's close enough, and you will have left it behind, and you're not making progress. It's like, oh my God.
Fun fact. While escorting it, I had stopped to check my phone for a second,
You got ran
and
over.
I got ran over.
Yeah, so
And then it took me back to the checkpoint.
So I have something funny. I accidentally ran myself over because you first get it and then you walk it up to where that checkpoint is, and then you walk it the rest of the way, right? When in the first half before that checkpoint, you can't die to it. I was letting it push me. So I got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna let it push me, and it just ran me over. I was like, what? It changed.
What a change!
Yeah, when you first see the truck, up until you get to like it's almost like a bus stop where the checkpoint is, and then that's where the rest of the push is. Right before that checkpoint, it can't run you over; it pushes you.
So I had to restart that whole segment for a different reason. I had killed all the guys that I could see, and I was waiting for the truck to catch up to me, and then I just blew up. I'm just standing there. There's no enemies that I can find, no combat music. Just suddenly, oh, cool.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything to add? I think that's pretty much it. There's a good game
Yeah,
in
I
there,
think
but
that's
it's
it.
mostly fucked up.
I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
pretty well.
Back
I'd
to
say
my. Oh,
Solid
sorry. Go ahead.
D-tiered game.
D. You're gonna give it. I need to open my notes real quick. Oh, you're giving it a D.
Yeah.
Because I have notes for this.
You won't hate it, and there's some parts where it is kind of so bad it's good, but not enough to be like saving the game.
Yeah. So yeah, to go back to one of my earlier points, the reason I'm putting on the same level as kind of Battleship on the PS3 is because if you haven't played it, everyone played that game for like I'm confident people didn't give that game a chance at all, and they were like, it's just a really bad Call of Duty clone. It is not. It is a Doom 3 clone with a card-based RTS built into it. It's a Doom 3 clone. And it just really shows like if you played more than an hour, you would find the game's version of the
Oh my
the big gun that takes up the middle of your screen. I forget the name of it.
Haze has the same story as Dying Light.
I've never played it.
Dying Light's story is you work for a big corporation that is selling a drug that's supposed to help prevent the zombification process, and they send you in to get the antizin from the group of indigenous people that are having this zombie outbreak, and they want you to take the antizin and leave.
Yeah.
You're effectively working for a drug corporation that's planning to dick over indigenous people. That's the same story.
Yeah. The reason why I say it's like that is because this game, everyone's like, it's a Halo clone. It's a Halo clone for like the first hour.
I was gonna say
it's not a Halo clone, really.
I think a Halo clone is what it would like to have tried to compete as.
Yes. For it to be a Halo clone, you would have had to be Mantle most of the time, but you're not.
Yes.
That is there
to then Mantle for an hour.
Yeah, that is there to make you feel the difference when you're in the normal FPS mode, where you actually are able to aim ADS and everything.
And then it feels more like Postal. I'm going to be honest. Like the shooting feels like Postal.
Yeah.
The clunkiness reminded me of Far Cry 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that era.
It's like Postal without any of the gore or blood or fun stuff.
What engine? I'm going to Google it. Is Haze on Crytek? I don't know.
I don't remember.
If it's on Crytek, that would be funny. You know why?
Why?
Because they could have done something so much better with it.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry about that noise if you heard that.
Didn't hear that.
Engine. Because, like I said, they're close enough to Crytek that they got renamed to Crytek UK. Like, so that's why I'm like, it's possible. It's possible. It is.
Made with CryEngine 3.
Baked with love.
I'm not seeing anything. Here's PS3 engine. I'm not seeing anything. It doesn't seem like it's that important, I guess.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. Yeah. Development. Oh, here we go. Was first announced at E3 2006. Really? No. It makes use of a proprietary graphics engine that was developed specifically for the game. This has its own engine.
Oh.
Free Radical made an engine
has
for this
one
game.
graphics.
That's sad.
That would make sense why brightness is actually contrast. That's funny. No wonder.
It also explains why it's so hard to emulate it correctly.
That also explains why no one knows the name of this engine. They used it once.
And they were like, "Yeah, I don't think we're using that again."
Yeah. Yeah. Not really a Halo clone or Halo killer. It is very much a generic first-person shooter that uses the first hour to make you feel like you're in a Halo clone, to then give you the contrast between the two sides. That's all it's there for. Most of the time, you're in more classic. It's not even really Call of Duty. It does feel like more like Far Cry. It really does.
Yeah.
Classic Far Cry aiming. You're not super accurate. There's no like even on console, on PS3, like most shooters, you have the auto aim. I swear this game does not have auto aim. I'm terrible with a controller in this game.
Yeah, it feels like there's no aim assist.
Yeah, which usually there is. So so that's why it feels like, I think that's why it feels like Far Cry, because early Far Cry also lets you miss. It just lets you, and so that's why it feels like you're fighting the gun. But yeah, overall, I think there's a good game in here. They just really fucked it up.
Yeah.
So let's do ratings real quick. We already got Elaine's, who gave it a D.
Yep, D.
Fancy, what would you give it out of tier list levels? We're doing tier list ratings.
I would also give it a D.
A D.
I am also giving it a D because, like, I was able to beat the game, right? I was able to play it.
It's not like
And-
it's unbeatable because it's broken or it's too difficult.
It wasn't like I never, ever, ever, I didn't make it an hour in and go, yeah, I never want to touch this again. I made it all the way to the end and said, you know what? I'm good with never experiencing that again. And I think that's a solid D tier.
Well, that is better than thank fuck that's over.
Yeah, it is. That is true. I'm having troubles rating it. I think I'm also going to give it a D. I honestly thought all of you would give it F.
No, it's not that bad.
But
It's not
will
bad
say-
enough for an F, because at least it's not one of those games where I'm like, fucking God, I wish this was over
Yeah.
the whole
I
time.
was gonna say, it wasn't Deus Ex.
I will say though, I'm a lot closer to giving it a C than giving it an F, while these three might be closer to an F than a C.
I'm
Definitely
closer to an F than a C for sure. But
Yeah.
I think my personal experience was marred by the fact that I was running, like, I had the worst section of the game for me was literally just an emulation thing, because I didn't have motion controls. So when I was fighting through the flamethrower area, I was super pissed because if I got hit with any amount of damage at all, I had to just let myself burn to death because there was no curing the fire.
I also can't believe that there's only one section that has both the flamethrower and the minigun, and you never see them again.
Yeah, you never see them again.
Yeah.
They're not in your squad. They're not like against you ever again.
When you're on
Mendel
the
doesn't ever pick up a flamethrower. That's just it. That's the last time you see those guns.
when you're on the helicopter, you use the minigun. But
When
it's
you're on
not
the
like-
helicopter, you use the mounted gun, but that's different.
it's literally
from-
the same gun.
You
Yeah,
also
but
use
Is
it.
it literally the same
Subpump
gun? I never
helicopter.
picked up the minigun. I
You
never
also
did
use
that.
it. You also use the minigun on the back of a truck when you're chasing the shredded
Yeah.
base.
When you're chasing the
I don't
the
count those
aircraft
though because
carrier.
it's not on foot segments
It's
where you
literally
actually
the
get to
same
pick the
gun.
weapon.
It's just strapped to a
The desert,
I-
the desert-based aircraft carrier.
yeah.
I specifically mean though the
The unmounted.
actually being able to pick it up and walk
Yes.
around with it by
I
choice.
understand.
But yeah, that's I think that's all I really have to say on the matter.
Yeah, it's firmly a D. Firmly.
Firmly.
I do think Battleship is better still. I unironically like Battleship. I might give Battleship a B. Honestly, I like Battleship. It's a stupid game. I love it. So Fancy, what game are you recommending?
I get to pick game.
You get to pick game.
Pick the
was
game.
I narrowed it down to two, and I spent a lot of time thinking about which one I was going to pick today. And I decided to choose the original Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
They'll at least be easier to emulate.
By
Game
original,
Boy-
do you mean Game Boy
the Game
Advance?
Boy Advance. The
Oh.
American first Fire Emblem.
Is that game even colored?
Yes. Game
Time
Boy
to-
Advance was in color.
It-
It's time to buy a DS and find a cartridge.
Joke's on you, I have a Game Boy and a cartridge.
Dusty, I'm going to save you the trouble. Don't do that. It's too expensive.
I want to have a physical copy of every game we do on the podcast. I bought Haze. I own it. It's in my hand.
Lad already has a physical copy, though.
What?
But I don't.
Yeah, Lad did say that he's got a physical
I
copy.
literally just said I have my
Yeah,
own
but
cartridge.
I want one.
The next game I
Well,
pick
you
is
don't
going to be
have
a
to be the
digital
physical one
exclusive.
this time.
Well, I want it. I want a shelf of all the podcast games.
Fuck
next-
you.
The next game I pick is going to be a digital exclusive, just so I can middle finger your plan.
Experience the power of the drug nectar when you play as high.
Yeah, the next game I'm gonna suggest is gonna be Stadia exclusive, so that you have no way of getting a physical copy.
As a cunning rebel, use what you've learned as a mantle trooper to fight back. Fight the addiction. Does Haze.com still exist?
I
still exist.
HazeGame.com.
I can't imagine.
Haze
it-
games back.
It still links to Ubisoft, but it's an X-Defiant ad.
Oh,
Still
you know what? That's got to be their DLC. Is
Yeah.
they got to add the Mantel troopers
Oh,
to
add the
X-Defiant.
Mantle Troopers, yes.
Dude, okay, but if
And
they
you
did
get-
that, that'd be hilarious. Like, nobody would even know what's going on. Like, nobody knows this game.
I
Get
love
Nectar.
that it still links to Ubisoft, though. They still have that redirected. That's awesome.
It is funny as well to me is to think about like the fact that like I didn't even know about this game until like this got suggested. I literally had no idea that this game existed.
Same.
I had heard it when I was like 12, which was 2 years after it came out. I was 10 when this game came out. Yeah, around the time I got a PS3 was also around the time we got internet, so I was able to do multiplayer and stuff. So I was actually like, what other PS3 games are there? And right away I found out that Haze was a piece of shit and I should not play it. So my whole life I've
So
heard.
you had your experience colored before you ever played it, so you just never did that.
Yeah, well, the reason why I never played it, and this is kind of why I finally did it for this podcast, was because I'd always heard it's a Halo clone. It's a bad Halo clone. But I only in the last year and a half played all the Halos. So I didn't even know what a bad Halo clone was. So only after playing most, if not all, the mainline Halo games, because I haven't finished 2 or 4 or 5. And I think I'm like one mission away from ODST because I fell asleep right at the
Yeah.
end.
Well, we tried so hard.
Yes. Well, that's actually a lie. We'd played 2 and we'd played through 2 and 3 before. We were just doing it again for that. So
Yeah.
it's ODST 4 and 5 I haven't finished. But yeah, like half of them I've beaten. So now I know like what a Halo should feel like. And that's what I was like, now that I know what a Halo is, let's do Haze. Just to find out it's not really a Halo clone. People are just wrong. That is less of a mechanical thing and more of a story.
People weren't wrong to say the game wasn't good. Because like it's not a good game, but like they were wrong to call it a Halo clone because it really isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I recommended it. Was I was finally able to be like, I've played enough Halo that I think I could actually have an opinion on this game now. Just to find out that everyone else was wrong.
I do prefer having an educated opinion on things that I'm passionate about, so I approve.
Yeah. Yeah, I've owned this game for like 5 years. It's been on my shelf. I've like one day. All right. Would anything else like to add anything before we head out?
Nope.
I'm
All
good.
right.
Penis.
At least it's the end of this.
Suck it
Time.
in there.
Next episode is gonna be randomly in the middle somewhere.
I have to do that, yeah.
All right. Thank you for watching. I'm just gonna end it. I'm very bad at ending things. I'm ending it now.